Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're a focused learner, someone looking to take really complex academic concepts and translate them into clear, visual, no-nonsense takeaways, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking on a massive, fascinating sociological topic, social stratification, and we're going to transform it into an easy-to-understand visual map. We're talking about the invisible ladder of society. Have you ever just stopped and wondered why some people are incredibly rich while others are terribly poor? Why do certain groups just seem to naturally get respect, hold the power, and get all the opportunities, while other people are constantly, endlessly struggling just to get by? Is it truly just about who works the hardest? Is it just a matter of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps? Or is there a much deeper, completely invisible societal system pulling the strings behind the scenes? That is exactly the puzzle we are going to unpack today. Okay, here is our roadmap for this explainer. First up, we're defining social stratification. 2, looking at the types of stratification. 3, jumping into the great debate, boon or bane. 4, covering key sociological theories. And finally, number 5, social mobility. This flow is going to give you all the key concepts you need, which is especially helpful if you're prepping for competitive exams like UPSC or UGC NET. Let's get right into it. Section 1, defining social stratification. Let's establish exactly what this invisible ladder actually is. So, social stratification is fundamentally the process of dividing a society into different levels or classes. The best way to visualize this is to think of society like a massive layer cake. The layers aren't random, right? They are very specifically separated based on a few key ingredients: wealth, power, prestige, education, profession, or caste. Prominent sociologists like Raymond W. Murray, for instance, look at this and they don't see an accident. They view this as an objective reality of how human societies naturally organize themselves. It's the absolute categorization of people into a clear, distinct hierarchy. It's not just a theory, it is how the world operates. There are a few core characteristics to this system that we really need to understand, so let's fire right through them. First, it's universal, meaning you will find this everywhere. No society is perfectly flat. Second, it's social. This means it's created by human interactions and societal rules, not just biology or nature. Third, it is ancient. We are talking going all the way back to early human civilizations. Fourth, it takes on diverse forms, which we'll see in a minute. And finally, and honestly most importantly, it is highly consequential. This means where you happen to sit on that ladder completely dictates your life chances, your health, your opportunities, your outcome. So we're looking at a deeply historical and entirely global phenomenon here. Section 2, types of stratification. How does this invisible ladder actually look when we examine different eras and geographies? When we put these real-world categories side by side, the picture gets really clear. First, we have class stratification. This one is entirely wealth-based, and it's what we see most commonly in modern capitalist economies. Then there's the caste system. This is strictly birth-based. You are born into your caste, and that's that. If we look back in history, we see the estate system, which was entirely based on land ownership. And then the absolute lowest, most brutal rung imaginable, slavery, which is the literal ownership of human beings. And we absolutely cannot forget that running alongside all of these, we also have gender and racial stratification. The big takeaway here? Notice the stark differences. Some of these layers, like race, gender, or caste, you are born into and cannot change, while others, like class, are tied to your economic standing and offer at least the illusion or possibility of movement. So now that we have the basic facts down, I want to pivot for a second. I want to ask you a massive philosophical question. Is social stratification actually good or bad for society as a whole? Does it create a necessary functional order, or does it literally just breed unfair inequality? And that brings us to section 3, the great debate, boon or bane. Because as we are about to see, stratification has functions that supposedly help society run smoothly, but it also has dysfunctions that severely, deeply harm it. The absolute core of this debate is captured perfectly right here. Let's look at the left side first, the functions. Supporters of the system argue it provides role allocation and motivation. Basically, the idea is that you have to offer bigger rewards, more money, more prestige, so that people will actually want to take on the most difficult, stressful, or demanding jobs. They argue this creates overall stability and drives economic development for everyone. Okay, fair enough. But now look at the dysfunctions on the right. Critics point out that this exact same system creates massive, crushing inequality. It breeds discrimination and leads to intense social alienation. And perhaps the most tragic dysfunction of all, the underutilization of talent. Think about it. How many brilliant minds, potential life-saving doctors or revolutionary engineers are stuck at the bottom rung of the ladder and might never ever get the chance to shine simply because of where they were born? So we're looking at a massive structural tension between the motivation the ladder supposedly provides and the deep, deep conflict it actively creates. Section 4. Key sociological theories. It turns out the greatest sociological minds in history completely disagreed on this topic. We really have a true clash of perspectives here. It's fascinating. On the left side, we have the functionalist theory, championed by sociologists like Kingsley Davis and Wilbert Moore. They believed strongly in a meritocracy. They argued that differential rewards, like, for example, paying a surgeon significantly more than a retail clerk, are absolutely necessary to allocate roles effectively in a complex world. To them, it's a perfectly logical, helpful system of incentives. But pan over to the right side, and we hit the conflict theory, coming from heavyweights like Karl Marx and Max Weber. And wow, did they see it entirely differently. For them, it is all about power. It's the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat, the wealthy owners of production versus the everyday workers. They argued that this whole system is really just a rigged game, a way for the powerful to extract surplus value from the workers and maintain their absolute control. And that, in their view, leads directly and inevitably to class conflict. So you have two entirely different, highly intellectual lenses viewing the exact same invisible ladder. Section 5. Social mobility. Now, the good news is that a person's position on this societal ladder isn't always set in stone. This brings us to social mobility. Simply put, this is the movement of individuals, or even entire groups, within the social stratification system. It's the act of shifting from one status to another. You can think of it as the ultimate measure of how easily someone can climb up or fall down the societal ranks. It's about fluidity. Let's look at a couple of real-world stories to illustrate how this movement actually plays out in everyday life. Imagine this scenario. A farmer's son. He has very limited resources, but he works tirelessly day and night, studying against all absolute odds. And then he does it. He passes the highly competitive UPSC exam and becomes an IAS officer. In practically an instant, his social status, his income bracket, and his level of prestige in society are completely, permanently elevated. This is a textbook perfect example of upward social mobility. It is that incredible, powerful moment where sheer hard work and education actively change your assigned layer in society. However, we have to be realistic here. The ladder goes both ways. Consider this contrasting scenario. You have a highly successful, wealthy businessman, top of his game. But then, he faces catastrophic market losses, goes entirely bankrupt, and loses his entire business. Practically overnight, he experiences a severe, rapid drop in his economic and social standing. This is downward social mobility. It's a harsh reminder that your societal position, especially in a class system, is not guaranteed forever. It can absolutely be lost. So what are the exact forces that dictate whether someone moves up, falls down, or stays exactly where they are? Well, education is a massive, massive driver, as we clearly saw with the UPSC example. But it's not the only thing. There are broad economic conditions, like recessions or booms. There's your family background, which gives you your starting line. Public policies play a huge role, like access to grants or affordable housing. And let's not forget social networks. Often, it's not just what you know, but who you know. Finally, and unfortunately, discrimination remains an incredibly powerful negative factor that can actively block upward movement regardless of how hard someone works. These are the real levers operating the invisible ladder. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. Think about everything we just covered. Do you think social stratification is an essential necessity for society? Does it truly provide the order and motivation we need to function? Or does it merely promote deep inequality and conflict, holding massive amounts of people back from their true potential? Take a moment to really reflect on the theories we've explored today. Thank you so much for joining me to decode this incredibly important topic. Keep questioning the structures around you, and I will see you in the next explainer.